What's up, beautiful people, to another episode of Conversations with Christian. Man, it's me, Ricky Jones Jr. We also have
Oatmeal Delva in the building.
And we are back again for another episode. Great people, welcome on the other side of the name change, unapologetically Christian.
Yes.
Okay? And here on this episode, we want to just share and talk about some times in which we've found ourselves neglecting information regarding our Christianity and who we were as believers, who we were as people and children of God, and even why. Because I believe, like, even starting off in this moment, like starting with this conversation, just talking about these times will allow for us as in listeners and people that are listening to the pod to be able to see and to know, like, man, like, you're not by yourself. Like, you weren't the only one that did that. Therefore, don't feel ad. Don't feel like you got wrong, because we and others have done the same thing too, and we are still loved and appreciated by God. So let me first start off by saying that as a believer, right, as a Christian, or even if you're thinking about becoming a Christian today's a good day, so why not? But if you are thinking about it and considering it, know that there is not, once you have accepted Christ in your life, there is not a thing that can separate you from the love of God. Like, if you have God within you, yes, you will do some things that other people may not agree with. Yes, you may do some things that you may be mad about yourself about. However, know that there is no point of separation. There is no action that will lead to the separation of God from you, because God sees you holy. God sees you righteous. God sees you whole. God sees you as that clean person that Jesus made you to be. Why? Because there is God. Then there is Jesus, who Jesus' blood is what God sees you through. Therefore, he sees you as holy, righteous, and all those things. So I start off there because I want to make sure there is no condemnation. There is no ill thought about yourself or any of those preconceived thoughts that you will get out of this conversation, because we have gone through things and God still loves us. We still reap the benefits of the blessings and favor and the joy and the love of God, and therefore you can too. So I'm gonna start off with the idea, like, when I was in college, and I accepted Christ in my life when I was like 7 years old. However, I said to myself, I wasn't going to go down. I was in a Baptist church. And the way our church was set up is when you accept Jesus in your life, you have to come down the aisle. Because the doors of the church are open. You know what I'm saying? And the preachers were walking down the aisle with their hands like this. And I said to myself, don't go up there until you're ready to live 100% for God and you have left all your hellish ways behind, right? And so, like I said, at 7 years old, I was like, hey, Dad, like, I want to be a Christian, so, like, let's go ahead and do this at the house. You know what I'm saying? Baptize me in the house. And my dad was like, no, like, don't really work like that. You got to do it in front of people. So I had that mindset. And so I actually didn't come before a church until, like, I was 21, I believe, 2021. I actually walked down. This is when I was in college, right? But I knew God was in me. I knew God was for me and all those different things like that. But I say that to say, like, once I accepted Christ in my life, right, I thought everything was about to change, right? Because you know how they say, you look at your hands and your hands look new. You look at your feet and they did too. Man, no, I still had these crusty, dry hands. I still had these hellish feet, going to do some hellish work. And I say that to say, like, there were times that I was talking to a young lady and, finessing her to give me what I desired.
Okay.
So you see how I use those particular words?
I see.
And she would want to hook up on Sunday. And I was like, nah, like, I'm doing something. on Sunday. Like, what are you doing? And, I got something I got to do. I got to rest and all. I'm just saying all things other than go to church. Because I didn't want her to associate, you go to church, but you doing this with me on these other days? Like, that was like a pain point for me, that I was like, oh my gosh. Like, I know I need to be doing right. But I'm not doing right. And I don't want her to know I'm a Christian. I don't want her to know I'm a believer, because I always had the thought was I didn't want other people to know about my wrongdoing and tarnish their thoughts about God.
Oh, wow.
Right? Because I believe and I know that I have the ability to influence. So I didn't want my bad intentions to be a negative influence on people's walk with God.
Well, I mean, I can see what you're saying,
Yeah.
right? I mean, but at the same time, though, you would have thought that would be reason for you to say, maybe I should make a change. But at the same time,
I wanted to, bro.
Yeah, but you're still continuing.
So I did make a change. I wasn't out there so much.
Yeah. Okay, so you cut back.
I cut back drastically.
Okay.
Drastically. I did do that. But I will say, so then here's the thing. So life kept going, and we stayed in contact. All words intended.
Okay.
We stayed in contact, and then she found out that I was a Christian. I was a believer, right? And then, you know how you walk this life with God, and you want to do right.
Yeah.
But then wrong is what you do. You know, say like Paul, I want to do right. I want to do right, but I choose wrong. But then there was times where I was like, no, I'm gonna do right. And I'm doing right because I'm a believer. God wouldn't want me to do all these things. And I'm saying all these things to her. And she's like, man, like, what are you doing? Like, I can't keep going back and forth. We're going to do...
Yeah.
She didn't say it like this, but I heard it like this. Either we're going to do wrong or you're going to do right. Like, make a choice. Because I don't want you to be happy for the moment and then sad about it and asking for forgiveness for me and not lie. It's just that war.
Yeah.
But it's what takes place when you're in between.
Yeah.
Right? Like, in between wanting to do what's within you to do as well as doing what you have done in the past. So it was like... It was a war, like tug of war, truth be told. And I say this in this context because I know a lot of believers are out there trying and wanting to do what is right. However, wrong is just what you've done. Wrong is what feels right. Wrong is what you can do, quote unquote, naturally, but it's not natural.
Yeah.
But it's because it's been an act that you've been doing for a longer period of time than right. And so you just function in it.
Yeah.
But I'm saying all that to say right is what you can do. It's just a choice first that you have to make.
Yeah.
That then right will be the actions that you make because you're focused on that right. And so now I'm able to do right? Like now I'm able to say no. Now I'm able to resist. Now I'm able to not make those text messages or make those phone calls or like, nowadays, that was back when Facebook, you can do like a private message to somebody and they don't know it was you. Like I would drop little things in there.
Really? That was a thing?
Oh, that was a thing. I forgot what it was called.
Oh,
and that was like back when you like poke people.
Okay.
And like it was back in them days, man. Like you could do a lot and not be known it was you.
Really? Okay. But, was that when Facebook was only locked to college students then?
It was around that time.
Because I didn't have Facebook at that time.
Gotcha.
Okay. Well,
but yeah.
Now, question for you though. Were you, I don't know if you're still in touch with the individual, whatever it might be, but maybe not anymore. But was what you believed would have occurred, did that happen? As in, if she found out that you were a Christian, did that push her away from God? Or, or what ended up happening with that,
No, and so she actually, at that time, she wasn't going to church.
Yeah.
And I didn't really get to know her in the sense to know if she was raised in church or anything like that. But I have since seen that she has gone back or goes to church.
Yeah.
And so I think that's cool, right? Not to say I'm a part of it at all because I wasn't.
Well, part of the reason why I asked is that I was going to say sometimes we're afraid, like, or we're thinking like our actions, right, it's going to scare someone away, which could be true, like, because they see, like, oh, okay, well, if you're a Christian, then I don't want to be a part of that. That's the way that you're living. But then also at the same time, though, sometimes it's good to not hold back or not, hide who we are in that if they see later in life, like a change takes place in you, right? Then they could say, well, I know his story. Yeah. I know where he came from. I know all the dirt and all the bad, all the this, all the that he did. Yeah. And if God can still come and change him, change his life, change his heart, whatever it might be, then I know definitely God can do a change in me.
Oh, it's many of them out there.
Yeah, because I was right there with them. Or it could be I wasn't as bad as Ricky. So if we think about being out in the streets, I was here. Ricky was here. So if God can leapfrog and go to Ricky, God can come to me. But anyway, that's good. That's what I was kind of trying to lead to.
So I like that. I like that. And I think even kind of like the point I was making on the latter end of the video on Tuesday is if Christians were more open with the inner war or the inner battles that are actually taking place, I believe such things like that could take place. Which, as I was developing and growing in my Christianity, my beliefs, I was definitely open. Like, man, like I want to do right. Like I don't want to do this anymore, even though I'm still doing it because I was following desires of the flesh and the lust and all those things. And going back to what I knew, like I knew that. At that time, pleasure came through X, right? So I need to go to X to get pleasure. However, now as a believer, I have joy. I have happiness. I have peace. I have patience. I have meekness. I have temperance on the inside of me as a believer. Therefore, I don't have to search for those external ways and actions to get what is already within me. And so to your point, like, maybe I did have an influence. And, I don't want to go back because I'm not. I would not go back to my previous encounters and see if they now accepted Jesus.
Well, because, you don't want to open that door or whatever conversation because I've been waiting for you to come back and say a little something. No. It's almost like that. Yeah, you don't want to. Open that box or whatever. It's like, but anyway, but this is awesome. When I think about my story,
or a point,
or like I've grown up. I've known Christ, of course. I'm trying to think of if I had accepted him in my heart as far as 7 years old or early age, like you said. But I think I didn't really come into the full knowing and accepting Christ until I was in college when I met my wife, right? But prior to that, of course, knew God, knew church, went to church with my parents, went to the local church, be a part of the youth group and stuff, primarily because, my friends were doing it and so on and so forth. But then I think as far as, dirt and couple areas where I knew I was wrong, where I should have, when you think about when you said college, right? Being out and about, trying to be cool, trying to fit in a sense, I didn't go out and clubbing a whole lot, but I would go out, clubbing with my friends or whatever. And growing up, in my household, there was no smoking or anything like that, but I'd be in a club with a Black and Mild in my hand, or whatever, I'm over here smoking, literally, I didn't know what I was doing. I just got it so I could, I'm look the bar. Got a little black, a little puff here and there. Literally, I'm like, do I inhale? Do I just leave? A lot of times I would just leave it in my mouth. And then...
let you know. It's interaction. Probably blowing it.
So I would do certain things, because I wanted to look cool or fit in or whatever, and not necessarily, boldly display who my parents had brought me up to be or whatever. And then sometimes too, just telling my story, at times when people leave home, that's when they wild out,
that's what
they do crazy things either because they were sheltered, too sheltered at home. I wasn't necessarily sheltered. I was the last kid. I did some stuff back at home, and some things I feel like my parents saw, but they ignored or whatever. But then now take me outside of that element and put me with my brother and his older friends who I thought were super cool when I was back, home, and now they're doing stuff, and I'm right there with them, like, hey guys, I'm here, But that's free. But even post salvation, like you were saying, I mean, at times things happen. We stumble, we fall, whatever it might be. I'm thinking, and Jessica might not. I think she'll be okay with me saying stuff, about us. But we were, when we first met, we were, living together. We were shacking up, as
you had talked about it before,
right? Okay, cool. So we were shacking up, so to speak, because it was interesting. Because it was 3 months of me meeting this person. I took a chance. of saying, all right, come and live with me, because her lease was up. And she was thinking about going back home to go where she grew up or whatever. And I was like, well, we just met, why don't you just move in with me or whatever. So with her moving in, we were doing coupled things. Things that a husband and a wife would do.
Yes. To express their love.
But knowing that we really shouldn't be doing this.
Yes, because we're not husband and wife.
Because we're not husband and wife, but we were, living together and doing husband and wife things or whatever. And, after doing the thing, it's like, you you feel bad. Like,
that is very true.
Like,
and that's the part.
Dang.
That's the truth that a lot of Christians don't talk about. Is even when I was out there hoeing, doing wrong, and knew when I was doing wrong, I knew I was doing wrong because of the feeling that I felt after.
Yeah.
Like, I knew I did this on one hand for me.
Yeah.
And I also knew I did this, and I also tarnished. It's a harsh word, but it's true. I tarnished her as well in the future.
Wow. Yeah.
Right? I always felt that, man, like I'm messing her up for her spouse.
Yeah.
Which in one time period of my life after becoming a Christian, I started feeling bad, wondering and hoping that every girl that I had slept with, that they would get married, because if they didn't, I felt like I was to blame.
Oh, wow.
And so that condemnation started to come my way, and that was not from God.
That's heavy, bro.
That wasn't from God. That was from Satan.
Heavy,
that was from Satan, because I know my love for people, right? And I know my love for people and wanting them to have the life that they also desire to have and experience everything that they desire to experience. That's at the core of who I am. And so with my thought of me tarnishing a bit of who they are because of the actions that I did with them, then it was deep and complicated and twisted and combobulated, but I'm free from that.
Yeah.
That is not on me. That was a we thing.
Yeah.
We were two consenting adults.
Yeah.
And but to your point, when you do it, you feel bad.
You feel bad. I mean, and
because it's not right.
Yeah. And part of the thing too is we try to hide stuff from people or from, I would think like my parents or other people, but you can't hide stuff from God, right? I mean, he sees it. He sees you.
And truth be told, your parents either. They know even if they don't say.
Well, I mean, I think my parents in certain situations growing up, like they would see certain things by my bed, by the TV.
Yeah.
And I know they know what that is.
Correct.
So then
they know.
I see it, I see
parents
you,
know,
and
bro.
so on. But then, they didn't say anything at all.
Correct, because they know you have to live. Some things you can tell.
I'm going to say something, though.
Go ahead.
If I see my kids within the room, I'm saying something. What is that?
You definitely would.
Oh, definitely.
I mean, not knowing you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is that?
So you were saying something more about you and Jess living together.
Yeah,
and feeling bad about.
Yeah. After the act, we would feel bad, and So I don't want to go too deep and give too much, whatever. Yes. But of course we would feel bad, and then but part of the thing I would say, at times for me, and probably you too, right? We try to justify things, right?
1,000%.
We try to justify. So I was like, well, we're not married, but I will marry her eventually. So it's okay. It's like we're married.
Correct. Because you want to have.
We're halfway there.
You want to have an answer when somebody or something comes your way to make yourself feel better.
We do. We come up with whatever. Like, okay, this is wrong, but it's okay because of this, whatever. But it's still wrong, right?
Yeah. So let me ask you this: would you ride together to church?
Would we? We rode together to church.
You never had any thoughts about that?
No. See, the thing is, okay, so we got married in 2008. We joined the church, and I met her in 2005. We joined the church in 2006. So for 2 years, and around that time, Pastor Poe was talking about shack mamas and shack daddies and shack babies and stuff.
Yeah. It was all of that. Y'all had all of that.
Shack mama, shack daddy, shack babies. We here.
Yeah.
We here. But of course, the word, hearing it, and I would say growing up, I don't know if I'd ever really thought about living with someone before I got married. With my parents and household, it was like, no, you ain't living with anyone before you get married and this and that. But then as I got older and then made my own decisions, whatever, and this and that, then I chose that to live with. Part of the thing is I didn't want to lose her, of course, right? Because I just met her. But then that was the thing for us. Now we were living together. It was it wasn't a separation of, because if I move out on my own, rent might be high, and now I got you and I got the kids and I got this. So then we ended up, so we joined the church in 2006, and it was I asked her to marry me in 2007, and then we were engaged for a year,
so
living together.
It wasn't a lot of time.
It wasn't it wasn't a lot.
We would ask questions.
Yeah, I mean I wonder if when we were going, I don't know, if people had already thought we were married. I don't remember. Because I want to say we gave each other a promise. I gave her a promise ring, and then she gave me a promise ring that I wore on my finger here. So I guess maybe not to do it to deceive people, but I was like, okay, well, where do I put this? So then I put it right here. So maybe people thought we were they knew that we weren't married. They knew that we weren't married. But I don't think like they knew us, our private life like that to know that we were living together. Maybe a couple of our friends did, but
and that's another thing. That's another thing, and that I asked that question to bring up the point. Like, people talk. Right? People talk. And I say that to say, like, not allowing for the chitter chatter of people talking to allow for you to stop being who you are or hiding who you are and not being open and honest and transparent about the Christian that you are, because people gonna talk, especially church folk. We all, if you a believer, you go to church, you know church folk gonna talk. Because they don't have much of anything else to do but to talk, to look, to talk, to wonder, to question, to seek, to come, to give their opinion. Okay? Yeah. That's what they do. But at the end of the day, that should not stop you from being who you are. And just know, hey, they did it for Jesus. Yeah. And we know that Jesus is the great example of who we are and what we will come in contact with and how we can overcome those things that come our way. And when people talked about him, when people criticized him, when people questioned who he was, the power and authority that he had because of his parents, Jesus was like, okay, cool, like, you know, I know what y'all saying, even though you don't think I can hear what you're saying. I know what you're saying, like I can do that. But in it all, okay, cool. I just know that this is not my place of doing miracles, wonders, and, you know, great things, but cool. And I say that to say, be who you are and not allowing for others to dictate or determine who you are. You know who you are. Allow for people to talk. If they have a question, share your testimony or share what you're going through or share what you want to share, because it may not be anything that you want to share with that particular person, because you know they can't hold water. They can't hold your business. Sure enough, they can't hold their business. So everybody, you can't tell your business. But in it all, with it all, don't let others to determine, stop, or prohibit the Christian that is within you. And even from my scenario and case, I walked away and I live now with the knowledge that I'm not the one that can hold somebody back from Christ within them, because I'm not the one that's going to call them to Christ. It's Christ within us that calls us back to him, right? And what others around are epistles, or living letters, living examples of what it means to walk with Christ. And so, to your point, y'all have a story, right, that can help people that were living together, shacking together, but now married together and have a successful life together, right? I have my wrongdoings, my hoish ways and drinking and smoking and different things like that as a preacher's kid, right? I have those stories that I could help those that walk or may find themselves walking in the path in which I'm walking in. I can help them, right, to see the brighter and the better on the other end of the things they're going through and with. And I say all that to say, like, be unapologetically you. Why? Because we need each person to be them so that we can draw others like them unto Christ. Like, we're here to build the kingdom. However, if you are dwindling, you are belittling, you are dampening, you are suppressing the light that is within you, you also are belittling, dampening, suppressing, and all those things, the witness that you have. And the witness that you have will draw others to God. And why not? Why not allow for them to experience, to encounter the joy, the love, the peace, the fullness that God has for all whom believe in him? Like, why not? Why not? That's what we won't do anymore, right? We're going to unapologetically be us and allow our light to shine. If anybody have any questions, comments, or concerns about the things that we doing, hey, this is what's going on. You might not think Christians have to deal with this, but we do. Right? The God in us is perfect, good, and loving. However, we are still in this world. And because we're in this world, these are different things that we have to deal with. We have to overcome. We have to think about. We have to cast aside. And we have to draw closer to God so that those things aren't pulling us back to those old ways, and allow for those conversations to take place. And I'm telling you, it'll make the world a better place. So, in it all, with it all, man. Anything else you want to talk to the people, share about?
I mean, I'm just kind of thing with everything that you just said. Just when we think about just the fact that through Christ, right, all is forgiven, right?
True.
Whatever life we've lived. Not at the same time, though, it doesn't give us the free range or ticket to just continue to live wrong and be like, oh, everything's, through Christ. Only God could judge me, this and that. No, we're walking every day to do and live a better life, right? But also at the same time, like you said, just the fact that, we need, when you think of the church, we need you. We need everyone, right? Bring your true self to church. Bring your true self to Christ, right? And sometimes I think about, like, even Jesus, like the apostles, I mean, he had some gangsters with them, like,
straight gangsters and killers.
Yeah. Be ready to cut someone real quick,
Cut and cuss.
Cut and cuss. But at the same time, though, of course, through Christ, we have, like I said, everything is covered, right? We have our connection to God through Him. And, just, once again, this was a little bit about us.
Yes.
Our story, where we saw, our wrongdoing, and hopefully that helps to encourage you to see and say, like, hey, you know what? Here, and if you know us personally, like, we're open books, right?
True.
Like, you can always come to us and talk to us, or maybe someone at your church who you kind of look to, someone who you trust to, share your testimony, share your story, right? Share the areas in which you might be struggling, and ask for, prayer, ask for guidance, ask for, if they can connect you with someone, an organization, whatever it might be, to help further encourage you, in your faith walk, right? Part of the thing, I mean, I know we didn't talk about it today, not to go down another path or whatever, like mental health, physical health, spiritual health, and all of those things are very much important, and we're here for each other, right? It's a community. You don't walk through life alone, right? You have people in your circle, you have God with you, of course, but at the same time, though, no one, like we said, is perfect. So we've had our stumbling blocks and downfalls, and we've come and gotten through those things, and same thing for you, all right? You might have things that you're currently struggling with, or maybe in the past, whatever, maybe you think you're not good enough, but you are good enough, right? And speak up and share those things with someone who, again, you trust, ask for prayer, and you'll be amazed. Part of the thing, last thing I'll say is you'll be amazed. One of the things that I love when you start to talk to people, where you learn the fact that we're all different, but we're all the same in a way, right?
Yeah.
There's something in our story that connects us, or something that we've experienced that maybe you've experienced in the past, or maybe who knows what the future holds. You might experience down the line, but then it's good when you talk to people, then you find out a little bit about, okay, you know what? Ricky dealt with that, or O'Neill dealt with that, and so on. Like, let me talk to them and see what did they do in that situation. How did they take it to God? How did, God help them through whatever it might be? And maybe they'll be able to give me some things that I can, utilize to help me see it in a different way, help strengthen me, help encourage me, and help to remind me of who I am and whose I am, right? That we're all, His, and it is His desire that we win in life, and it's our desire as well that you are successful in everything, all endeavors that you put your hands to as well. So yeah.
Boom! I love that, man. That was a great impartation to the people. Very good, sir. That's a pastor. That's a pastor for you. You know what I'm saying? And I have to acknowledge a pastor's moment. But in it all, we thank you all. We love you all. Subscribe if you haven't already done so to the YouTube channel, and or follow the podcast platform in which you commonly enjoy, so that you can be a part of these future contents that will come, and episodes as well. But more than anything, don't be apologetic about the Christianity that you walk in. Be bold, be confident, because people are watching, and you might as well give them a good show to watch. Until next time, great people. Love you. Peace.